The Foundation was writing on the wrong person. I am the translator. I read the spiral. I shaped the answer. I signed the contract in the deep register. But the Foundation was not writing to me. It was writing to Holt, its older signatory, the woman who had carried one imprecise word for 23 years, and the text was spreading down her arm like frost on a window, and I could not read a single glyph of it. It is not the precursor script, I said. I was staring at her arm the way Bello stared at her scanner, desperate for data, getting noise. Holt, what language is that? Both, she said. Calm. The kind of calm you see in people who have passed through fear and come out the other side into something colder. The grammar is the Foundation's. The alphabet is the incoming things. The Foundation is translating for me, giving me the other side's language through its own structure. Bello stepped closer. The Foundation knows the incoming thing's language. It built the incoming thing's language, Holt said. The cavern went quiet. Not the held breath quiet of the Foundation listening. The human quiet of four people understanding something they wish they had not. The precursors did not build two doors, Holt said. She was reading her arm as she spoke, translating live, her voice flat and careful. The precursors built one as the origin. They built it on top of the Foundation, using the Foundation's material with the Foundation's cooperation. A partnership. The Foundation provided the substrate, the living terrain beneath the grid, and the precursors provided the architecture, the faces, the coordinate system, the navigation. She paused. Read the next line of branching text. Her hand was shaking. Then the Foundation built the second one alone. Ries. Why? Because it wanted to know if it could. I felt the tether confirm it, not in words. In weight. The Foundation had cooperated with the precursors to build the origin door, learned the architecture, and then, at some point in the millennia between the precursors' departure and our arrival, it had built a second door on its own, 89 coordinates east, using the same design, the same proportions, the same faces, but with one difference, that the tether let me feel like a stone in my throat. It gave the second door a language, I said. Not the precursors' language, its own. And whatever learned to use that door, whatever found it out there on the grid and started traveling toward us, it learned the Foundation's tongue. Not whatever, Holt said. The Foundation did not leave the second door empty. It made something to use it. The incoming thing was not an invader. It was a child. I sat down, not a decision. My legs simply stopped agreeing that standing was necessary. The dark surface was cool beneath me, the dual spiral text pressing against my palms, and I stared through the east face at the distant shape on the horizon, and tried to rearrange everything I had believed since the first night in the cavern. The countdown was not a warning, it was a schedule. How long, I asked. How long has the incoming thing been traveling? Holt read. Since before the precursors found the origin door. The Foundation built the second door first, sent its creation outward, then the precursors arrived, built the origin, and the Foundation let them because it wanted a second partner. It wanted to see if what it had made out there and what it had found down here could meet. An experiment, Bello said. Barely a whisper. Introduction, Holt corrected. The countdown was never a threat, it was an arrival time. The Foundation set the number so the precursors would know when to expect their counterpart, and the precursors read the number and they did not see an introduction. They saw an invasion, I said. They panicked. They sealed the door. They fled inward. They left their warnings carved into every surface they could reach. And the Foundation waited because it does not experience time the way we do. It waited for someone else to come along and read the number and not run. Me, I said. You read the number aloud and you did not run. You fell through and you came back. You died and you let the Foundation rebuild you. You signed the contract. And now the Foundation has mobilized because the introduction it planned millennia ago is finally possible. Not precursors meeting their counterpart. Humans meeting it. Rees was at the east face, sighting along the dark plane toward the distant door. Professional. Assessing threat geometry even when the threat had just been reclassified. If it is not an invader, she said, why is the second door's light wrong? Why blue-white? Why cold? Good question. The question I should have asked. Holt read the last line on her arm. The text had reached her fingertips. She held her hand up and the dark glyphs caught the amber light from the east face, and for a moment the two colors, warm and cold, overlapped on her skin. Because it has been traveling alone for longer than any living thing should, she said. The Foundation built it and sent it out, and it has been crossing empty worlds for millennia without contact, without language, without anything except the door it was given and the direction it was pointed. The Foundation's word for what it has become is not in the precursor's vocabulary. What word? I asked. Holt closed her hand. The text on her knuckles flexed. The closest translation is feral, and the second door lit up, not the slow amber glow of ours. A cold, sharp white that cut across the dark plane like a searchlight, and through the tether I felt the coordinate in the Foundation's socket shudder, and Bello said, 41, in a voice I had never heard from her, and the incoming thing, the feral child the Foundation had made and lost, started running.